Welcome back, squad. One player I love in every round in fantasy this year, at least the first 10. Let's go. Welcome back, squad. Like I said, we're hitting the first 10 rounds and one player I like in each round. Let's rip. So the first round, I don't think you can really go super wrong, barring like an injury or something like that. My personal favorite pick is actually at the 1-2 turn, maybe even in the middle of the second round. It's Garrett Wilson. And it's pretty simple. You've probably heard me talk about this before, but Garrett Wilson was fourth in targets last season. That was with Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian throwing him the ball. He has Aaron Rodgers now. So I think those targets will equal catches. I think the catches will equal points. Don't overthink it. Garrett Wilson, he's cheaper than pretty much any of the wide receiver ones above him, even though I think he'll be in pretty similar range as like your Jamar Chases and your Sun Gods and Justin Jeffersons. I think he's in that category for sure. So just slightly cheaper price. At the end of the second round, I like Isaiah Pacheco. According to ESPN, he has an ADP of about 20 right now. He sits just below Derrick Henry. I actually like him more than Henry. I like him more than Kyron, who's also above him. I think this offense is super high powered. There's going to be a lot of potential to get goal line carries. He's the guy in Kansas City that is abundantly clear this year. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to run into the end zone. He runs like a truck. It's probably not good for his knees, but the man is a superstar. I think he could easily finish in the top 5. I like Isaiah. Round 3, sitting just below him, it's Travis Etienne. Now, Etienne is not a sexy pick. He's not necessarily new, and the offense isn't even necessarily better, but they're going to run the ball, and they're still going to pass the ball, and I still like Travis Etienne this year. Etienne was 7th in running back targets last season. He averaged 4.3 a game. I think that's a pretty good baseline of what we can expect. I think he's going to get into the end zone more. I think he's very efficient. And more so, I think they're not just going to chuck the ball to Calvin Ridley because he's not on the team. He's not super sexy. He's not super flashy, but I think he's a good pick. Travis Etienne, round 3. Round 4, and really like the turn of round 4 and 5, which is crazy to me, Rachaad White. White's ADP is 40 right now, according to ESPN, and that's just way too low for me. White's sitting below guys like Stephon Diggs, a 29-year-old Alvin Kamara. I would take him as my RB2 easy in round 4. White was 10th in RB targets, and he didn't have a ton of touchdowns. He wasn't necessarily super flashy, but if you watch those games, you know the Bucs offensive line was trash. And part of that is efficiency, obviously, but he's still the guy. He's still the running back lead in this offense. I think of him as like a Kyron with less talent, but a less intimidating backup, right? There's no Blake Corum there. He's not going to get superseded by Bucky Irving anytime soon. Bucky's still there, and he'll lead into some of his work, but nothing, I think that puts him below like a 60%, right? Like at worst, I think we're at like a 70-30. So I really like Rachaad White this year. I think his value just dipped because his efficiency wasn't amazing and because of the new rookie that they drafted, but they're still the Bucs. They still have Baker. The offense is basically the same otherwise. They just lost their offensive coordinator, but I think he's going to be just fine. Round 4, Rachaad White. This one, I can't actually believe I'm saying this because I never thought I'd put him on this list, but round 5, Cooper Kupp. This is just reading the situation. I don't have a ton of great statistics for Cooper Kupp. I'm kind of just learning the room and learning the situation. Kupp averaged a tick under 8 targets a game last season with 7.9, which isn't amazing. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. And Puka's still there, right? So it's definitely intimidating, but he's coming back from that injury, and I think he'll be as close to 100% as he can be. I still believe in this Rams offense. They have Kyron. They still have Stafford. There's still going to be that offense. Is he going to be like a top 5 guy? No. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 guy, but if he stays healthy, Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp, right? I still believe in the talent enough to say in round 5, at his price, I'm okay with that. Round 5, a little risk it for the biscuit, Cooper Kupp. Round 6, I love this. I love round 6, Ramondre Stevenson. Bro's ADP on ESPN is 67 right now. 67. That's crazy. He is the lead back in the Patriots offense. And yeah, it's the Patriots offense. They're not that hot or good or average or above average. I don't even know if they're below average, but he's the guy. And Gibson is there, and he'll get some passing work, but there's no Zeke, so there's no goal line. Ramondre is the goal line guy, and he just will be. They signed him to an extension. I think he's going to be As long as he stays healthy this year, I think he's going to be great. He averaged 4.3 targets a game last season, which is the same as ETN averaged last season. I think he's a great, easy RB2. Don't overthink it. Sit for Ramondre. Love him, love him, love him in round 6. Round 7, I've talked about him before. I don't want to talk about him too much. It's Evan Ingram. Really a lot of great tight ends you could go for in this range, honestly. If you sit a little bit for a tight end, there's some really good options besides Evan Ingram. I'm just picking him because he had a really good season last year, and I think that will continue. He led all tight ends in targets last season with 143. The next closest was more than 15 below that. And I mean, this is all information I've talked about. He had one game below 5 targets, and he had 5 targets. There's no Calvin Ridley. I think the touchdowns go up. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. It's so clear to me. I'm taking Evan Ingram when I can in round 7. So I say round 8, but it's really at round 8 or 9, depending on how far he falls, because his ADP, according to ESPN, is 85, which is nuts. It's my man crush, Keenan Allen. If you've been watching the preseason, you know he's on the field with Caleb Williams as the wide receiver 2 behind DJ Moore. I'm totally fine with that. He's going to be in the slot, and him and Oduzne will kind of alternate that. That part makes me a little nervous, but I'm not saying he's going to be amazing again. He's not top 10 this year, but top 20 I think is super realistic. I still love Keenan Allen. He's my ride or die until he retires or breaks his leg, which, to be fair, could happen sooner rather than later. But we're here, and we're on the horse. Keenan Allen, round 8/9. And then I'm going to truly stick to a round 9. Kyler Murray. Again, don't overthink it. He's a running QB. He's got Marvin Harrison. Trey McBride is there. It's a good situation. He's back to full health, recovered from the ACL injury, I think, I hope. And you're drafting him in round 9 or the end of 8, right? He could end up being like a QB 5 or a 4, and you're getting him at barely inside the top 10 at QBs. He's like 8 or 9 right now. I think the talent is super amazing. I think he still has that running ability. He's not going to throw for 500 or 400 yards in a game, but he's going to run and he's going to throw 2 touchdowns and he's going to be just fine. So Kyler Murray is a safe late round option at QB. The problem is everyone's going to be going for him, so I think you would get him at round 8 at the latest is the only problem. But if he's there at round 9, scoop him up. Kyler Murray, round 9. And then last but not least, his ADP is sitting around 100. It's Christian Kirk. Again, talked about him before. No Calvin Ridley. He's going to be in the slot, which I love. He's going to be moving all over the field, I think, a good amount. Trevor Lawrence is still improving, still getting better. He's going to throw the ball to him. Kirk averaged a tick over 7 targets a game last season. He's going to be just fine. You're drafting him super late anyway. So I think he's a great flex play at his price. Don't overthink it. He's still 27. He's still pretty young. Jacksonville sucks, and they're going to have to throw the ball. All things I've said before, but still true. Christian Kirk, he's a sleeper. He's a steal. Round 10. Well, we made it, gang. We made it through 10 rounds. One player I love in every round. Soon we're doing the inverse. One player I hate in every round. A little bit spicier, but that'll come soon. Season starting soon. Let's get pumped. Peace out.